Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Madam, okay. Today, me, Fazwan Bin Aidros, and my group consists of Syaliza Binti Mahamad Nasir, Muhammad Shahmee bin Abu Saman. We will present about social cultural diversity, implication, and teachers' role. Okay, next slide. Before we move more in depth in this topic, let's understand first what is social cultural diversity, and I will explain about it. Okay, we will proceed to next slide. First, let's look at what is social cultural. Okay, social cultural is a framework that stresses the social and cultural context responsibility in human learning. Social cultural is a mixture or interactions between social and cultural elements. Okay, to put it in a simple way, social cultural is a term related to social and cultural factors, which means common traditions, habits, patterns, and beliefs present in a population group. Means that in our society, we have many people with many backgrounds mixed together to progress our society. Okay, so let's see the next slide. Okay, now let's look at what is social cultural diversity. Okay, social cultural diversity is the practice of lifestyle and civilization for a society, born from the belief and preference in numerous aspects of life. Okay, so in order to bring satisfaction and promote the community's progress, it means that we live in a big society, and in this big society, we have many people with different backgrounds. We have many race, many ethnicity, and even many religion in our society. Okay, so uh, even though we have many differences, but we want to move our society as a whole. Okay, so let's scope it down, be more specific. This social cultural diversity is also felt at the classroom management level, covering gender, race, religion, ethnicity, language, and other factors that make up the individual student's identity and impact their learning experience. Okay, here I can explain that in our school, we also have many students with different backgrounds. We have students from different races. We have Malay, Chinese, Indians, so on, and we have many students from different ethnicity, uh, different religion, and even different social class. Okay, let's proceed to the next slide. Okay. Okay, now let's look at social cultural diversity found in school within Malaysia. Okay, we point out five social cultural diversity. First one is gender, race, religion, ethnicity, and language. So I will explain one by one what is gender first. Okay, genders refers to the characteristic of women, men, girls, and boys that are socially construct. Okay, these include norms, behaviors, and roles associated with being a woman, man, girl, or boy, as well as relationship with each other. Gender as a social construct differs from one society to the next and can change through time. So commonly in school within Malaysia consists of male and female students. So we have a boys school and girls school, but we put it aside. Mostly in Malaysia, we have male and female students in one class. Okay, so let's look at the second point, which is race. Okay, what is race? Race is the idea that human species is divided into distinct groups based on inherited physical and behavioral differences. Okay, in Malaysia, we live in a multiracial community and we have Malay, Chinese, Indian, as significant races in Malaysia. Okay, for the third point, is religion. Okay, religion refers to a specific fundamental set of belief and practice generally agreed upon by a number of persons or sects. We have various religions here in Malaysia, such as Islam, religion professed by the Malays, Buddhism, practiced by the Chinese, and Hindu religion professed by Indians. Here it means that these three religion is the major religion in Malaysia, and Islam is number one in this country, since it have in rukun negara and perlembagaan and so on. Okay, the next one is ethnicity. Okay, this one is very interesting. Okay, first let's understand first what is ethnicity. Ethnicity is an ethnic group, or ethnicity is a grouping of people who identify with each other on the basis of shared attributes that distinguish them from other groups, such as common sets of traditions, ancestry, language, history, society, culture, nation, religion, or social treatment within their residing area. Okay, in Malaysia, we have a various ethnic groups such as Bidayuh, Melanau, and Iban that reside in Sarawak. Meanwhile, the Kadazan, Dusun, and Bajau ethnic are in Sabah. So, ethnic is very, very, what they say, very, very big at Sabah and Sarawak. Okay. We also have in in East Malaysia, we also have Malay Java, Baba Nyonya, and so on. Okay, so the last one, language. Okay, because we have various culture in Malaysia, so there are also many language spoken here, such as Bahasa Melayu, Mandarin, Tamil, and even English. Okay, so in Malaysia, in education system, we also have school specifically for Chinese and Tamil, SJKC and SJKT, and mostly the language that used at this kind of school is their kind of mother tongue. For example, Chinese Mandarin language used in Chinese school, and Tamil language used in Indian school. Okay, so as for Malay school, we mostly use Bahasa Melayu or even English school. Okay, so for the next slide, I will pass to my next presenter, which is Syaliza. Okay, Syaliza. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much to my group members, Fazwan, for presenting the first part of our presentation, which is about the introduction of the sociocultural diversity in Malaysia. I am going to continue with the next part of our presentation, which will be about the sociocultural implication in the educational setting. The study of sociocultural diversity in Malaysia also focuses on the implication that it has upon our community, and in this context we are focusing on the educational community. For this implication study part, we have divided the study into two different pictures which involve the negative implication and the positive implication. Apart from that, we also have divided and focused on few different aspects of the sociocultural element, which involve the gender, race, religion, ethnicity, and language aspect all together in this part of presentation. In The first part of our implication study, we would like to focus on the positive implication part first. We are going to look and learn at how the existence of this different socio-cultural element has helped to impact our educational setting positively. The first positive impact that we can see is it helps to create national identity in picture. We are talking about the unity of our students, which come from different cultures, ethnicity, and religions, which are studying and learning together in schools. When we can see these phenomena happening in our surrounding, it is very true to the nation's belief itself, in which, according to the Malaysian Education Blueprint for the year 2013 to 2025, the government and the Ministry of Education itself is highlighting on the importance of students' unity. We want our students to come together and become one when it comes to achieving their shared learning goals. We want all of them to excel academically, achieve their goals, and support one another throughout the process. We want to show a real example of how the education system and the students should be in order for us to become an example to the other country out there. The second positive impact that we are looking at is it helps to create interdependency effect. This effect can be seen happening when we look at each and every student learn, communicate, and work together in the same area of the educational setting. They work together in order to progress and fulfill the learning objective. When each and every student keep on supporting one another, keep on sharing information and exchanging ideas in order for them to fulfill and achieve their shared learning goal, these are the result of the interdependency effect that we are looking for. We want this kind of effect to keep on revolving and expanding in our students' community. The third positive implication is it helps to create educational system upgrade. The process of upgrade can benefit teachers, students, schools, institutions, and the curriculum itself. This upgrade is happening due to the smooth working education system. When our students come together as one, working together without prejudice and being comfortable around each other, they are able to study and learn in a very unique and comfortable environment. When our student is comfortable in the learning space, they are able to achieve academic and excel at what they are doing. So when each and every student in Malaysia are able to involve themselves in this kind of environment, it will help to impact them positively. They will become excellent students who will contribute to the nation's enhancements and the nation's development in the future. The fourth positive implication and the last implication that we are talking about today is it helps to create cross-cultural knowledge spread. In this context, we are talking about when everyone is respecting and valuing others' belief and religion everywhere or anywhere we go. We want the spread of cultures among our society to keep on progressing. We want to learn and know more about others' cultures in order for us to understand our society better, in order for us to know on how to contribute towards the harmoniness of our country. We are always willing to keep on learning and sharing knowledge for us to become one society with one identity, which is the identity of unity. So that is for the positive implication. We are going to move on with the negative implication part in the next slide. For the next part of our implication study, we are going to look at the negative implication. What are the negative impacts that we have upon our educational setting due to the existence of these different social and cultural elements? It is a very sad truth for us to be talking about this negative implication, but still we have to talk and discuss on this in order for us to find perfect solution and put all of this implication into a stop. The first negative implication that we can see existed in our educational context is the favoritism issues among genders. We can see in some situations, some teachers treat female students better and some other teachers treats the male student better. Why is this happening? Is because some teachers tend to think that the characteristic and motivation possessed by this specific group of students will help to create comfortability among them. Some people think that the male student or this group tend to have more dominance in the classroom setting, so that these teachers will choose male student over female student to be involved more actively in classroom participation and other curriculum and co-curriculum activities at school. When this kind of problem is arising and happening in our educational setting, it will create an unfair situation in which some other student, maybe the female group of students, will feel inferior and being left out in their academic setting. The second negative implication is the group work division issues. This is a norm when we see that some students tend to form a group made up of individuals from the same race and religion. Why is this happening? Again, it is because of the sense of prejudice. Sometimes we think that when we work in groups which are made up of people or students from different cultures and background belief, it will be difficult for us to do discussion or to work together perfectly. But in fact, it's actually not a truth. We are supposed to encourage our students out there to work together in groups that are made up of students from different cultural background and religions, in order for them to realize about the importance of working and mingling together. Only by this that they can see it is perfectly normal and fine for them to work even with people that come from different race and religion. The third negative impact that we can see is the teachers' treatment issues. Sometimes some teachers are being biased to some students in context of classroom participation, the classroom arrangement, potential in curriculum and co-curriculum subject matters. Let's take an example for us to discuss about. Sometimes teachers tend to be so biased among the student, in which teachers tend to regard some student as excellent student and some others as poor performing student. So when they have this kind of perception, they tend to choose this excellent student to participate in more classroom activities, to sit in the front row of the classroom arrangement, and always to provide and also include their names in co-curriculum activities because of their perception. When this happens in school and the classroom setting, again, it will create this unfair treatment among other students. For those low-performing students, they will feel left out and become less motivated day from day. So as teachers, we need to find a real perfect solution to keep this problem from expanding in our social educational community. In this next part of presentation, I am going to talk about the negative implication. The next issues that we can see happening in our educational setting is language issues. We are talking about students with limited vocabulary and fluency in a standard language used at school, such as Malay. When a student realizes that he or she is not so good at using Malay, they tend to be less socialized and less communicative. They will get so inferior when it comes to talking with another student because they are afraid they will be criticized or mocked by them. In fact, we want our students to become actively participating in the social circle at school in order for them to keep on motivating one another. When they realize about the importance of working and communicating with other peers at school, only then they will get so motivated to come to school every single day and excel academically. The fifth issue is the discipline issues. Students that come from different races and religions, some of them tend to have prejudice among one another. There have been few reported cases about conflicts and class quarrels that happens to be among students that come from different backgrounds. We actually want to keep this kind of problem to a curb because we don't want our students to live with hatred among themselves. Instead, we want them to realize about the importance of harmoniousness in school communities. The last negative issue is motivational issues. Some students that come from low income and less educated family tend to receive less guidance and motivation in context of the educational aspect. Compared to students which come from high income and high educated family, they receive more emphasis on the importance of education and curriculum achievement for their future. When this kind of motivational issues keep on spreading among students that come from these less fortunate families, it will actually create a phenomenon in which they will tend to be less performing in their academic situation because they think that the academic achievement is not so important. So they don't want to do much or give so many efforts for them to excel because of this kind of perception that have been put into their mind. We actually want to encourage all of our students to keep on motivating one another because we don't want them to have any negative perception in their mind about the importance of education.
Thank you, Syaliza, for the explanation earlier. My name is Mahamad Shahmee and I'll be presenting on teacher's role and concluding this topic. To begin with, teacher as physical environment designer. Teacher have to be natural towards gender, race, religion, ethnicity, and language. In this case, teachers need to plan a suitable lesson that suits to this criteria. The language used also gives impact towards the effectiveness of the teaching and learning process. Teachers have to control and standardize the language used in classroom. Secondly, teacher as teaching and learning strategies. Teachers have to plan a strategy outline for the subject taught and ensure that the learning must be in line with the objective, that is what students want to master. The planned objective must be accurate, coherent, and achievable by students of various culture and backgrounds. Lastly, teachers as administrator to supervise classroom and daily management. In the context of education, a conducive learning environment as the climate and culture of the classroom as a whole includes several aspects such as communication and floor plan design, physical space layout, and the ability of teachers to manage students in the classroom. This will secure a conducive and organized socio-cultural diversity classroom. Now, we are going to discuss about ways to create friendly socio-cultural classroom. Number 1, physical. The priorities are focused on arranging the classroom atmosphere to maximize the effectiveness of monitoring student progress as well as thinking in advance about problems that may arise. Reading corners such as storybooks and educational magazine and multimedia corners help to create culturally friendly classroom. Number 2, social-emotional. Effective social-emotional management will be a stimulus that arouses and maintains students' interest towards achieving goals, including attitudes, behavioral interest in their learning. Teacher can give praises and encouragement to students to continue being involved in the classroom activities. Appropriate appreciation for involvement and rewarding in the form of gift will create culturally friendly environment. In conclusion, it is very important that students' socio-cultural diversity is embraced as adhere to the concept of education for all. As teachers, we must make sure that we are culturally responsive in our teaching strategies. This will lessen the gap between students' socio-cultural as well as to create the feeling of secure and trust among teachers and students. That's all from us. Thank you for lending your ears.